Hey everyone, it's Fitz with your daily delivery. Hope you're doing well. I am quite good. I'm very fired up because football season's here. I just announced it. It's here. Well, if you're a Kansas State fan, it's here. The players reported for camp on Tuesday. They have a practice that I know of on Thursday. I'm sure they got something cooking on Wednesday because we get to go as members of the media to a portion, the early portions of that Thursday practice. We will have coverage at GoPowercat. By the way, you can get 60% off right now on an annual subscription, so you might want to hit that up if you've been thinking about going to GoPowercat. It's much more than me just talking. We really do have some cool content over there. And I'm excited about this season for many reasons. First of all, I'm excited about the Big 12, but there's three elements about this Kansas State team that I'm genuinely intrigued by. How will it be different than the past? Will we see some new wrinkles? Will they return to their former glory in some areas? We'll get into that right after I remind you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the thumbs up, and leave those comments. The comments really do fuel the algorithm. Please go ahead and just say hi. And also, we're sponsored by Mailreg Golf Clothing. Go check out the link down in the story. I just love this stuff. Very inexpensive, well-made stuff. 10% off with Life of Fitz discount. Like I said, the link is in the story below. So, what are the three things that make me most interested about this Kansas State football team? Well, we got to start on offense. And I know you're just going to say Avery Johnson. And that's part of what I like or really want to see from this team. But mostly with Connor Riley officially taking over the offense and maybe putting in more of his stuff. And now Matt Wells coming along to put in some of his stuff as co-coordinator. What does that mean? How does that manifest itself on game day? What do they do with Avery that maybe is a little bit different than what they did with Skyler or Will Howard? That just fascinates me. You've got this great weapon, that a kid that can run and throw, but you also need to keep him healthy. How do you balance all that? And we'll start to see that maybe later in the season. I think they'll be pretty generic, at least in those first two games, maybe just the first one. You don't want to mess around with Tulane again. Look what happened last time. Item two that I'm excited about is this talk of Kansas State kind of juggling what it does on defense. And there's been talk about going back to a four-man front. I don't know that they're going to have four guys with their hand on the ground, but I do think in some situations they're going to have a rush end standing up at one end of the line. Is that really what they're doing? We don't know. They've been so protective of this information, just kind of vaguely mentioning they're going to do some different things on defense. But they have great athletes, young athletes at defensive end. They've got some good big interior players that can bolster that. And run defense was a problem at times in this scheme. This scheme is meant to be light and fast. And now that we're seeing a turn back to some power running teams in this conference, mostly Ollie Gordon at Oklahoma State, you got to be equipped to handle them. And I think this is the answer to that. Third, the special teams are in new hands. The special teams weren't what they have been. Part of it is the movement in college football away from special teams and really watering it down. But can these special teams get back to being a dominant portion of the game for this program? It was always the secret sauce. And no matter how many teams try to replicate it, they couldn't quite get to the level of Kansas State special teams. They're that good, but they weren't last year. Got to get the returns back in the game. None for touchdowns last season, the second time in about 1 billion years that this happened. How long Coach Snyder coach? Anyhow, it feels like 1 billion. Let's get back to the return game, making big plays, and get back to going to football games at the Bill. Because you know what? When it turns August, the first game is in August. You'll be less than a month away.